Hi, I'm Kyle, and if you're watching this video, it means you're being picked on and bullied and harassed, and you want to understand the situation. If that's the case, this video is for you. I am somebody who has been bullied from first grade all the way through college, and I am bringing this video to you as a fellow victim of bullying and somebody who has learned a lot about why it happens and what to do if you're being bullied. I'm going to bring up 6 very important bullet points in this video, so please remember them, write them down if you'd like, or save the video, and I hope that this will be as beneficial to you as it is to me. So let's go ahead and get started with the first one, which is you are not alone. Like I said, I have been bullied. I have been a victim of bullying before in my life, and you are not alone. You are 100% not alone in your being bullied. I would not be making this, I'm going to make this clear, I would not be making this video if I had not been picked on, because then I wouldn't know what I was talking about as much. Speaking as a victim of bullying, I know what it's like to get targeted and picked on for something that isn't your fault. And we're going to come back to that, but the first bullet point is that you are not alone. You are not the only one who is being picked on. You are not the only one who is being bullied. There are other people going through the exact same thing. They know how you feel. They know what you're going through, what you're experiencing, and they know the kind of despair. You feel helpless and powerless and trapped, and you want to fight back, and you don't always know how to do that, and a lot of the time you're tempted to respond in anger, and we're going to get to that as well. But I wanted to start off by saying you are not alone. I understand what it's like. I understand what it is like to be picked on by somebody. So the second bullet point that we're going to go through is that it is okay to be different. A lot of times people get picked on for being different. Never let that stop you from being different. It is 100% okay to be you. Don't let anybody tell you it's not okay to be you. I'm going to use myself, and the best way to go about this, I believe, is to use myself as an example. See, I was born with a mild form of Tourette syndrome due to a traumatic birth, and I've lived with that most of my life, my whole life. The reason I say most is because as an adult, my adult brain pushed past a lot of the challenges I had as a kid. As your brain develops, if you're able to get the kind of help and the kind of things that you need, your brain is able to, and sometimes even without that stuff, your brain just, as you get into it, your brain becomes an adult brain, it's able to sort of push past that. It sort of gets sort of rewired in a lot of ways. I'm going to call it being rewired. Your brain is such an interesting thing, and I'm just going to call it what it is. My brain was kind of rewired as an adult, and I didn't have a lot of the same challenges, but I still have a few. Like I said, I have a mild form of Tourette syndrome, and I still have a few facial tics, and I've been made fun of before for things. I don't use that as an excuse to get out of things or as an excuse to act unadult-like or un-me-like. That is not the way that I do things, at least not anymore. It is okay to be different. There is nothing wrong with being different. Do not be ashamed of any differences that you have, any quirks that you have. You might do one thing differently. You might do 100 things differently. Do not be ashamed of that, and never let anybody tell you that you are less than or pick on you for that. There's no reason to do that. And that is why that bullet point is so important. Third, that I want to bring up is that it is not your fault. We're going right into that from it's okay to be different. It is not your fault. It is not your fault that you are the way that you are, and you shouldn't look at it as something, it shouldn't even be looked at as a fault at all. It's not even a fault. It's not your fault, and it's also not your fault you're being bullied. Never blame yourself for being bullied. That's one thing that I've heard people do. They say, oh, maybe I was in the wrong place at the wrong time, or I should have done this differently, or I could have done this differently, and maybe it wouldn't have happened. Don't say things like that. Don't think things like that. It's not your fault you're being picked on. It is never your fault that you are being bullied. It is never your fault. Never blame yourself for being picked on. Absolutely, 100% never, ever blame yourself, because all you're going to do is hurt yourself. I blamed myself. I thought because I was different that's why I was being picked on. That if I wasn't different, that if I had been like everybody else, then maybe I wouldn't be picked on. Wrong thinking. I went through that a lot, especially in 9th grade. I went through a lot of that in 9th grade, and I went through a lot of that in probably when I was around 11 or 12 as well. I had a lot of experiences, and I will go into those a little bit as we go, but I want to make it clear. Like I said, the first 3 points are very important, and they're about you. You're not alone. It's okay to be different, and it is not your fault you're being bullied and picked on. Remember those things. They're very, very important, and they're about you. And they're things to remember. And so now that we've established that, I'm going to go to the next point. And this is a point that is different. And not a lot of people are able to look at this from this side. And the reason that I am bringing this up is because I know people who have been in this situation and have moved past it. We need to recognize that bullies, a lot of the time, I'm going to say like 80% of the time, and I'll explain why I'm only saying 80 in a little bit, but 80% of the time, bullies are victims too. They might not necessarily seem like it. A lot of times they're not going to seem like it. They might be the popular kid, or they might be a kid who's super strong and is able to push other kids around easily. But like I said, 80% of the time, they're victims too. And I'm going to go ahead and just use my own life again as an example. I believe that's the best way to go. That when I was growing up, I knew one of the first bullies I ever had started off as a friend of mine. And when his dad left, it hurt him very, very deeply. And I do not know what it is like to have a parent leave. I would be in the wrong for claiming that I understand that, but I do know people that have been through it. And I know that it's painful. My dad went through it, and he's a very, very good man, and he has taught me a lot, and he is not like my grandfather. And I'm grateful for that, because I realize that a lot of people don't turn out like my dad. And some people do. So recognize that bullies are victims too. And like I said, this kid that I dealt with when I was in about second grade, he was a friend of mine. And then somewhere during the school year, like I said, his dad left, and it really messed him up. And he started taking out his anger and his pain on other kids. He was so hurt that he started picking on other kids. And I mean really, really picking on them. And it was kind of like if they didn't do what he wanted them to do, then they were going to get picked on. They were going to get threatened. They were going to get scared. And he was one of those kids where his mother somehow managed to convince herself that he was being bullied by me. And that baffles me. This is a kid that actually pulled a butcher knife on me. That is the kind of bully he was. He actually pulled a butcher knife on me when we were in second or third grade, around that time. And he pulled a butcher knife on me while I was at his house with a bunch of other boys. And it was a very scary time. It was very, very frightening for a young boy to be in that situation, for anybody to be in that situation. But that is how bad he was hurting, and how badly he wanted other people to follow him and to make him feel important, and how badly he wanted to ease this pain that he was going through. And I haven't forgotten it, but I have forgiven him, and I understand he was a victim. He was hurting so badly, and he took it out on me. And it took me a lot of years to understand that, and I don't know if he is still a bully. I don't know if he is still mean to people. I don't know if he still hurts people. I hope not. I really, really sincerely hope that he has recovered from that, and that is coming from, like I said, somebody who was picked on by him. But I hope that in his life he is no longer a bully, that he has peace, and that he is loved. And it was not easy to get to the point where I could say that about him, but I'm using that as an example in my own life. So we need to remember that if you're being picked on, your bully most likely has something traumatic going on in their home, in their life, and it's hurting them. It might have to do with their parents. It might have to do with something else. I don't know what it's like to go through that. I'm grateful for that. My parents have both dealt with things in the home that could have resulted in them becoming very different people today than they are, and I'm grateful for the wonderful people that they have become. And I hope that the same could be said, that the people in my life that have picked on me have grown into people that are kind and are no longer bullied. Maybe they've learned something, and maybe they're spreading the same kind of message from their side of the spectrum. The next bullet point that I want to go over is never let anybody else change you. That is very important. Nobody should tell you how to be you. Nobody should influence the way that you see yourself. And especially, never do or do not do anything based on somebody else's opinion of you. I knew a girl who decided one day she was never going to sing again because somebody told her that they did not like her voice. That's the prime example that I have to give to you about this situation. Is just never, and there's a polite way to go about it. You can tell somebody you're not interested in their opinion of you. There is a polite way to do that. If you and there's no shame in that. Or you can let it go in one ear and out the other and not say a word about it and let them state their opinion. And just, like I said, don't take it to heart. Never change yourself based on somebody else's opinion. And a lot of bullies are going to come at you and they're going to be making fun of you for the way that you are. And I hope that anybody who's being picked on will remember that. Don't let a bully or anybody change you. Don't let them tell you that you need to be different. They don't get to decide who you are or what you do or what you do not do. They don't get to decide that. Don't let them decide that, or they will have control of you. See, and I'm going to quote one of my favorite movies. One of my favorite movies is The Never-Ending Story. And I'm going to quote one of the lines that the villain of the movie says. He says that people without hope are easiest to control. And that's the thing about bullies, is they take away all hope. They come at you and they take away all hope. And because of that, it makes their victims easy to control. Do not let them take away that hope. Do not let them control you. If they are able to control you, then you will be without hope. If they are the ones who are becoming, if you let this happen, if this happens to you, then the bullies are the ones who are going to be in charge of your life, and they will be the ones in charge, and you will have no hope. Do not let that happen. It is my hope and my belief that everybody that watches this video is going to understand that, and you are not going to let bullies take control of you. They're not going to get to decide whether you change the way that you live just to make society happy, or the things that you enjoy doing. I let that happen to me for way too long, especially in high school. I tried to be kind of a jerk because I thought if I was kind of a jerk, nobody would mess with me. And I didn't like that because, first of all, I'm not good at being a jerk. I'm better at being nice and compassionate and friendly. I'm not good at being mean. I wasn't good at being mean, and that's a good thing. You don't want to be good at being mean. I was terrible at being mean. I was so bad at it, it was almost funny. And that's the thing, is that later on, I realized I don't like being mean. I don't want to make people feel bad. So I started being funny. I liked being funny. I love making people laugh. You know, I love making jokes, and I love it when people laugh. It's just such a wonderful thing to be able to spread laughter. And so when I started making some jokes, I actually started being able to hang out with some people at school in my class that thought I was funny. That was awesome. So don't let anybody talk you into not being who you are. Now that we have gone over that, I feel that it is important for us to go on to what to do when you're being bullied. What do you do when you're being picked on? What are the steps to take, aside from the 5 we've just gone over? In addition to those 5, what do you do when you're being picked on? What are the steps to take? Well, the first thing is, if you're a kid, if you're young, if you're in school, don't just try to deal with it on your own. Tell somebody. I say it doesn't even matter if you've been threatened. I mean, there are bullies who will threaten you. Don't tell anybody what I'm doing or I'll come after you. I say it's still important to tell somebody. I say it's worth telling somebody. Don't let them get away with this. Don't let them get away with what they're doing to you. Tell an adult. And if that adult dismisses it, go to another adult. Find somebody that will listen to you. Find somebody that is going to listen to you and that is going to believe you. Because, as I'm pretty sure I mentioned earlier in this video, I was picked on by a bully whose mother somehow turned things around so that she was basically saying I was picking on her son. That's just... Tell somebody. Find an adult who will believe you. Keep searching. Keep going. Tell 10 adults if you have to. Anybody, until you find somebody who believes you and is willing to help you and to make sure that you are safe, who is going to keep you safe. If you're an adult, tell somebody. Don't deal with this stuff on your own. Find somebody that is close to you, that loves you. Find somebody that can help you. Do not deal with this stuff alone. Do not deal with this stuff alone. Also, and I'm going to mention this because, and this is a tough subject, and I'm going to cover it because this whole video is on a tough subject, and I need to tackle this particular subject. We're talking about going to people for help. Find somebody that you trust. I've heard about people who are suffering and struggling with life, and rather than finding people close to them to help them, they turn to strangers on social media. And I know that sounds strange because I'm probably a stranger to you on some kind of social media platform, YouTube at the moment as it is. This is different though. I'm talking about, there was somebody that I was watching a video on it was like a list of YouTubers that had something happen. Basically, to make a long story short, this fellow actually committed suicide because he went and decided to, I'm sure there's more to this story, but it was my understanding that he was very, very depressed, and he did ultimately, very sadly, take his own life, which is very sad. And so I hope that he's no longer in pain and that his family has peace. But he went and did a live stream where he was talking to people who are absolutely horrible and cruel to him. And I mean cruel, cruel. They basically told him, if you don't want to be here, we don't want you here. So do it if you want to do it. And that just broke my heart. That was just shameful to see there are people out there that would tell another living human being, all life has value. All life, wherever, it does not matter where you believe that life came from. There are people out there who believe that life came from. There are people out there who have their own beliefs about where life originated from. It doesn't matter where you believe life originated from. Life is life, and life is valuable, and life is precious. There is nothing else in the world quite like life itself. And so I don't even, like the Tin Man in The Wizard of Oz, I don't even step on a bug without acknowledging the fact that I have taken a life, that I have somehow extinguished even a tiny life. I have days where I don't have it in me to do that, and I'll scoop up a bug that I find on my floor and throw it outside. I won't kill it. Like the Tin Man in The Wizard of Oz, like I said, he would watch where he was stepping to avoid stepping on bugs. Life is precious. Never tell somebody that. That is some of the worst, and I realize it is tougher now because we have all of this cyberbullying and people online. And my point in all of this is that this fellow that took his own life, sadly, I wish he had gone to people. I hope that he did. Maybe he did. I don't know the whole story, so I'm not going to claim that I know everything that happened. But I felt for him. And it just, to me, I couldn't understand necessarily why, rather than looking for somebody close to him to help him in this time, find people that could be there physically with him, to comfort him, to help him, to keep an eye on him, to help him to work through this. He went on a live stream and entertained these people. Somehow, he actually gave these people the time of day. He actually bothered to respond to what they were saying to him. Don't respond to people like that. And I'm not looking down on this man or what he did or what he stood for or what he talked about. And I'm not saying that he did the wrong thing. I mean, I'm kind of saying he did the wrong thing, but I'm not looking down on him. And I'm not saying he shouldn't have. It's hard to explain. But what I'm saying is, find somebody that you can trust. Don't necessarily turn to a live stream and speak to strangers who are going to speak cruelly to you. Who are going to speak to you in cruelty and absolute horror. Do not speak with these people. Do not give them the time of day. Do not entertain that at all. I don't know why that man did that. I hope, and I believe that there had to be at least a few kind people on that stream. And I wished I could have been there for him. When I heard about what happened, I kept thinking, I wish I could have helped that guy. I wish I could have helped that guy. I really do. And I don't understand it. I don't understand the situation, but I wish I could have helped that man. I wish that this video could have come out sooner so that I could have helped him, that he could have seen it. You know, I find somebody that is close to you. That is the point in what to do. And also, like I said, remember the bullet points. Remember that the bullies, a lot of the bullies are going to be victims as well. And also respond accordingly, which is different depending on the situations. And I'm going to use my own life. There was a girl in my 9th grade class who picked on me. And she picked on me because I had a crush on her. And I guess it didn't look good on you having the weird guy have a crush on you. And I guess over time, and the thing is, it's like I let so much of it slide. I liked her, and so it was like when she picked on me, I just kind of forgave her pretty quickly. There were times when I was like, there was one time when it was like I had an opportunity. I never tried to get back at her. I had a little fun. I played a little prank. It was all in good fun. Nobody got hurt. It was in drama class. She had to say some lines that were basically required her to say something nice about me, and so that was fun. That was all in good fun. But later on, toward the end of the semester, a lot of the people who were mean to me in that ninth grade class started feeling bad about it because I went around and I started handing out everybody free sodas. We had this big party at the end of the day, and it was to celebrate, it was going to be summer vacation. The semester was over, so there was a lot of junk food and sodas, and everybody was hanging out in the cafeteria. We were out of class. And so everybody had things that they brought and contributed, and I brought some sodas. And so when I ran out, I called my dad, and I said, could you bring some more sodas? I want to keep handing them out to my friends, to my classmates. I still consider them to be my friends for whatever reason. And because that's just who I am, who I was, and who I still am. So he brought me some more sodas, and I started handing them out, and they saw me being kind and handing these things out. And they started to feel bad for having been mean to me. I don't know all of their situations, but this particular girl, and it's the reason that earlier on in the video I said only 80%. To my knowledge, this girl didn't have anything really going on in her life that I think would have made her a bully. I don't know what she was going through that would have, because I know a bit about her family life, and from what I'm aware of, I don't know I could be wrong. There could be something that I have no idea about. But the point is, she felt bad, and when I didn't come back to that school for the second semester of ninth grade, they realized, they said, where's Kyle? He's not here. He didn't come back. And they realized. And so she goes up to one of the teachers and she says, can you send a message to Kyle's family and ask if we can do something to make up for what we did? That was my understanding of what happened. And so the message got to my parents, who shared it with me. And I said, I don't want anything from them. I said the only thing that I could ask, if they really want to make it up to me, if they really want to make it up to me for what they did, I said, tell them never to treat a new kid that way ever again. From now on, welcome the new kids, no matter how strange they are. Welcome them, treat them with kindness and decency and dignity and respect, and welcome them. Like I said, never treat a new kid like that ever again. That was what I wanted. That's what I asked for. And it's really a shame. I don't understand that either. Nobody should be ashamed for having a crush on somebody. Nobody should be picked on for that. If she didn't like me back, that's okay. But to be picked on for that, I've always been kind of a hopeless romantic. I was always the kind of person to want to leave letters and little gifts and flowers and things. I grew up watching older shows and Hallmark stuff, and it's like I'm kind of the hopeless romantic type. That's the thing that I do. I liked writing poetry and I liked leaving flowers or little gifts or just letters to say I like you. I think you're very pretty, or I think you're very nice and I like that you're nice to people, and I think that you have very pretty hair. And sometimes it comes out sounding creepy or obsessive, and it was never intended to be. And like I said, I didn't have a lot of social skills, so perhaps that was completely the wrong way to go about it. And if it was, I admit it. I went about it the wrong way. I was in ninth grade. I didn't have any social skills, but it didn't mean that I would deserve to be picked on for that. It didn't mean that I deserved to be bullied for that. And you don't deserve to be bullied for things like that either. There's a lot of misunderstandings, and I remember having panic attacks, or a panic attack in school, and everybody was looking at me. It was basically a panic attack because they played a prank on me, and I freaked out. The thing that really made the difference, though, is that while I was in ninth grade, the 10th graders were as nice as could be. They saw that I was singled out. 2 or 3 of them found me, and they invited me to their table at lunch. I would eat lunch with the 10th graders because they were kind to me. I've never forgotten that kindness. I've never forgotten their faces and the names of the. I remember there were 2 guys who were very, very kind to me, and they brought me to their table to sit with them. One of them gave me a present on my birthday, and they were just very, very kind to me. And they were the kind of people that I wish there had been more of. I wish there had been more people like them. They had been so kind to me in school. Be like them. You see somebody getting picked on, have compassion, welcome them, invite them to your table to eat. learn something about them. Talk to them. Let them be part of something. Invite them to be part of something. But bullying hurts everybody. And the thing is, we have to look out for each other, because a lot of the times we go to somebody about being bullied, and it gets overlooked or it gets twisted around. We can't let that happen. We have to stick together. We have to work together on this. We have to tell somebody we're being picked on. If you're being picked on, remember the points I've made in this video. Recognize the bullies are hurting too. You're not always going to be able to reach them, but sometimes. There was one kid that I remember from when I was in 4th grade, and he was considered to be one of the school bullies, but I was friends with him. I ended up becoming friends with him in the first semester of 4th grade, and then I went, because I was, like I said, I was homeschooled a lot, so I was in school for like preschool through preschool through 4th grade, and then in the second semester of 4th grade, I went back to being homeschooled. But I stayed friends with this guy, and I would go to his house. We'd play video games together. It was because of him that I got to play a PlayStation 2 for the first time. He was the first person to ever show me the Animal Crossing game on the GameCube. That was really cool. I got to play some Legend of Zelda games because of him, and he was really nice to me. But he was apparently mean to a lot of other kids at school, and so I would go as far as to say, like I said, remember, the bullies are victims. He had a really rough home life, but he wasn't a bad kid. And I think he was grateful to have some friends. I don't think he wanted to be a bully. That was one thing that I always remembered about him, is I don't believe he actually wanted to be a bully. But wherever he is today, I do hope that he is doing well. I hope that he has a family and I hope he is surrounded by love, and that he is no longer hurting. That he has learned from what happened in his past, and that it's not something that he still struggles with. And I hope that this video is going to be productive for everybody that is watching it. And I'm pouring my heart out, just going straight from the heart. I don't have a whole lot written down. I'm just kind of winging it. And I believe I didn't really need to have things planned, because I knew, like I said, from my heart, I know what it is like to be picked on. And I want everybody out there to know, please do not give up. Please do not give up. And if you are struggling to find somebody who is willing to help you or believe your story, don't give up. Find somebody who will protect you and listen to you and help you, and do whatever it takes. It's not your fault that you're being picked on. And also, remember that there is an after. That is a really important thing. Remember that there is an after. Remember that some people are not bullies forever. Remember that bully victims are not victims forever. And I remember something that I remember that I just wanted to give kind of a reference to this. But when I see somebody getting picked on for no reason, it just breaks my heart. Like, I have legitimately been in tears at seeing somebody being picked on for no reason. And this is going to make some people laugh. I really think this is going to make people laugh, but I need to bring it up because to me it was very powerful. I know it's simple, but it's powerful. So, for everybody that grew up watching Arthur, I know most of you know Arthur. There's a character from Arthur, one of my favorite characters in Arthur is Molly. And Molly is this female rabbit with the kind of hair that covers her eyes, and she's one of the tough kids. And she kind of hangs out with the tough crowd. They're sort of bullies, but they're not always bullies. And she did that because she was hurt when she was younger, and she wanted to be tough enough that nobody would mess with her. But she's still this very kind-hearted character. But they had an episode that had kind of a flashback of her playing in like a sandbox, and some bullies making fun of her hair for no reason. Little girl playing in a sandbox, just trying to play, and for no reason at all, this bully makes fun of her and makes her cry. And I am not lying, that about broke me. I was not expecting to be hit so hard by that little scene of an animated rabbit being picked on. But oh my gosh, did it hit me. I mean, I had tears in my eyes, and I was like, I can't believe he'd make a little kid cry for no reason at all. And I wanted, and I know, fictional character, but the thing is that the message is very real. It is based on things that actually happen. It is based on things, but like I said, Molly, good example there, she's fictional, but she didn't let this keep her down. She turned it around. She got tough for a while, but she also wasn't necessarily mean. She helped people. She gave good advice, and she was a lot of the time she was kind. At least in the later seasons when they started realizing she's actually nice, and she's a very good older sister. And so I believe there was a very good message there, and I've always remembered that particular episode. Even though like I said, the thing is, like I said at the beginning of this video, I'm 33. That video or that particular episode of Arthur was fairly recent, so I was an adult when I watched it. It just hit me really, really hard, and I just wanted to bring that up because it was, to me, it was important. I can't stand it, and I want to bring up one of my bullet points one more time before I bring this video to a close. But the thing that I mentioned when I said do not let anybody else change you, and then when I said it's okay to be different, I stand by that. If there is something that you like, perhaps it's a style of clothing or a type of jewelry, or perhaps it's a type of comic book or a movie, or maybe it's just something, maybe you have just, maybe you have something about you that's a different, something that's other people are going to perceive as being different from themselves. There's nothing wrong with that. And don't let it stop you from being you. When I was younger, I've always liked colorful things. I've always liked super, super colorful things. And when I was younger, I often found myself talking about, or at least thinking about how much I always liked Hawaiian shirts. And I didn't wear them because everybody was, back when I was younger, I kept hearing that they were tacky. But you know what? When I got older, I started a collection. Because you know something? I like wearing colorful Hawaiian shirts, and I don't care if anybody thinks they're tacky or not. Because I love these shirts. I love how colorful they are. I love how fun they are to wear. And I love that when I wear them, it's like every day's a vacation. Let it be the same for you. Don't let anybody stop you. And in bringing this video to a close, I hope that anybody that has benefited from this video will share it with people close to them, with everybody that they believe needs encouragement. And also, stick with me because there are more videos on the way that are going to be having a lot of content like this. I'm going to be on a tour of some schools in my local area talking about the books that I've written and about anti-bullying and about what to do if you're being picked on. And I am hoping to upload those videos to the YouTube channel for everybody to sort of see. I have one video of me speaking to the kids already, and so the first school that I went to, so hopefully I will be able to get that uploaded very, very soon. And like I said, I've been saying, I hope this video is beneficial to everybody. I hope it really helps. I hope it brings you some encouragement. Know that you aren't alone. Never give up. Ever, ever, ever. There are people going through what you are. Find those people. Find people that are going through what you are. Don't let anybody change you. Don't let people control you and take away your hope. Do not let them be the master in your life. You like to wear colorful shirts? Wear colorful shirts. I am. It's okay to be you. I like who I am. I like being me. And I may have had and still have challenges in my life, but I like being me. I like being Kyle. And that's okay. There is nothing wrong. No matter what I do or where I go, I'm still going to be Kyle. And that's okay. So, again, thank you everybody so much. If you're still watching this video, if this has helped you out, and please feel free to share your own experiences in the comments section. I hope this will bring people together to help each other. Please remember, no hateful speech or comments in the comments section. This is a place of peace. This is a channel where everybody can be treated the same way, no matter how their brain works or what makes them different from anybody else. Let the comments be comments of kindness and decency. I hope that will be the case. I hope that it will. And thank you all so much for being part of this. And I will be seeing all of you again very soon. And if anybody has any questions or anything that they would like to hear me speak on, at least if they would like to hear me speak more about my life or about my experiences, or any other questions about bullying that any of you out there may have, anything that you think that I might have missed, please feel free to put something, suggestions, or just anything you would like relating to that in the comments section. I'll be glad to read them and have a look at them. Thank you all so much. And again, this is Kyle, wishing you all peace and hope and just a wonderful day. And thank you all for being you. Thank you for being who you are. It is okay to be you. It is okay to wear colorful shirts. It's okay to be on the spectrum. It's okay to be hyperactive. It's okay to be a different size, shape, color. It's okay to be you. There is nothing wrong with just being you. So until next time, this is Kyle, just being me, saying to all of you, just being you. I will see you soon.